Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in today to Letha's Real Talk at the We Believe Universal Studios. I am your host, Letha, and today I want to address a mourning for Flint, Michigan, as well as many people across the globe. A wonderful icon, Mr. Eric Mayes. Mr. Eric Mayes has been a leader in Flint, Michigan for 3 terms. He was an elected councilman. I started following Mr. Eric Mayes, honestly, because one of my nephews, who's in Georgia, introduced me to Mr. Eric Mayes and his platform, and introduced me to his advocacy and the things that he has been advocating for his community within Flint, Michigan. And unfortunately, we want to take a pause right now and just truly honor him and his legacy. He passed this past Saturday due to natural causes. Mr. Mayes truly believed in working hard for the people of Flint. Mr. Mayes was a resident in Flint. He is somebody that was from Flint, Michigan. What's concerning me, honestly, is the fact that he passed from natural causes. And the reason it's concerning me that he passed from natural causes because I can't help but to wonder if stress actually took him out of here. He advocated for what he believed was just. He advocated for his community, as I stated previously, and he advocated hard. And if you are not familiar with Eric Mayes in Flint, Michigan, you all can look him up at Eric Mayes. It's EricMays, Eric Mayes of Flint, Michigan. He was elected for 3 terms. And he truly exemplified, in my most humble opinion, and this is just my opinion, what true leadership is. Listen to me. Anybody that is running for office, anybody that is already an elected official, I need you all to consider some things that I'm saying. When you are voted in an office and your constituents vote you in and your voters vote you in, you're truly voted in for a reason and for a purpose. So it is your responsibility to cater to the people who actually put you in office. I think I need to repeat that statement. For people that are elected officials, that are running for office, or if you are presently in office and you have been voted in office, your role is to cater to the people that actually voted to put you in office. Why would I put emphasis on that? Because many times people are voted in office and they hype people up, and they somehow persuade people to vote them in, but somehow a lot of people tend to drop the ball on the very people that help get them there. This was not the story with Mr. Mayes. He was truly passionate about his community. He was passionate about people. He was passionate about what was right, not just what was lawful. He was passionate about what was justful and what was right. And the reason I say that, because I'll tell people any day and any time, just because it's legal, in my most humble opinion, don't make it right. And there are a lot of unjustful things that are lawful and legal. And this is a man who stood up for what was right. He made his presence known, and he was not afraid to go against anybody for what he truly believed in. This was a man, he was not bought. Now here I am, and here we are in Jackson, Mississippi. And we know one of the major things that Flint dealt with was the issue with the water. This particular individual could not be bought. He was not afraid. You was not going to bully him. You was not going to scare him. You was not going to persuade him to go one way or the other. He was going to do what was right and what was just. Not just for the people, because he stood also what he deemed was moral, and he stood off what he deemed was ethical and fair. A lot of people who are being elected in any position, I think it is only fair, and I think that it's only right that you all go look up, if you have no idea who Mr. Eric Mayes was or is, because his legacy will still continue to live on. You all need to look up who this man is, who this man was, and truly what he stood for. Too many people can be bought. That's been my problem with a lot of politicians, period. He was one of the politicians I did not have a problem with. He was one of the very few politicians that I did not have a problem with. He was one of the very few politicians that I truly believe in my heart was sincere about what he did. So many politicians go into office and they can be bought, or they can be persuaded, or they can be convinced that if they, move in one direction, that it will benefit them in this particular segment or this particular direction. Truly, that was not who Mr. Mayes was. But then when you look at him and you look at his energy, and you looked at how hard he advocated, you looked at how he endured. He not only marched, he stood out there in the streets with people. He was attentive to meetings, even meetings that they attempted to block him out of. He fought hard, he worked hard, and he pressed hard. And it is hard for me, because even though I did not know him personally, this was still an individual that I followed and looked up to, and I can't help but to wonder if the very thing or the very people that he advocated and worked hard for, I believe it's the very situation that checked him up out of here. Too many people are advocating in a stressful manner, and it's taking people up out of here. It's truly happening. It is truly happening. This is not a racial thing. This is not a cultural thing. This is, we need to be able to identify what stress does to us and where stress truly leads us. Listen, if you're in a position right now in your life and something is stressing you out, no matter how hard you want it for other people, no matter how hard you think you need to sacrifice, no matter how wrong you think that people may be doing, no matter what you feel like needs to change, I really don't think it's worth the stress to check yourself up out of here. Now, I'm not saying stress took Mr. Mayes out of here, but according to what I read, it was natural causes caused by an underlying illness. Most natural causes caused by underlying illnesses is either heart issues or either high blood pressure. And I'm here to tell you all, no matter how much medication you take, no matter how many times you go to the doctor, if that stress is still there, it can have a negative impact, not just on your mental state, but it can have a negative impact on your physical well-being. Now, we're in the month of February. Most people like to call it Black History Month. Everybody knows, or if you don't know, I feel like Black history is something that needs to go around the board 365 days a year. I think it's sad that people want to limit it to one specific month. But anywho, that's just my personal opinion. But however, in this particular month and in this particular time, there was a living icon who is no longer here, who was just recently at a meeting not too long ago, who was truly advocating for what was right and what was just. And it amazes me that you have people who have came along like Mr. Mayes, who was truly passionate about what he did for not just 3 terms, because even though he was elected for 3 terms, if you go up and do your research on Mr. Mayes was technically active prior to him even being an elected councilman in Flint, Michigan. He was a very smart man. He was a very man of action. He was a man that the people knew. He was a man of the community, and he was known for not sugarcoating anything, and if it came up with him, it was going to come out. But what concerns me and what bothers me is you have so many people that are still here, and they have been in positions way longer than Mr. Mayes, and they have held positions from being on the state legislature. They've held positions for being city councilmen. They've held positions for being on the local school board, but yet and still, they have not even gotten anything done. The only thing a lot of people tend to do is complain and talk about the problem, and I am so thankful for somebody like Mr. Mayes, even though I'm not in Flint, Michigan, but he was somebody that exemplified, you just don't talk about the problem, let's focus on the solution, and not just talk about the solution. The solutions need to be met, the solutions need to be done, and truly, there are truly no exceptions to what people can and cannot do. And so many times we take things like that for granted. We take people like that for granted. We disregard the leadership. We disregard the authority. We disregard the endurance. We disregard the drive. We disregard the fact that people are truly consistent in what they do. We disregard the fact that people are truly dedicated in what they do. And this was a man who was truly dedicated to what he did, and he truly loved his community. But yet and still, we have people in so many other places that aren't doing a darn thing. If you're an elected official and you're not servicing the people who put you in office, my question to you is exactly truly, what are you doing? Just take a look around. Truly take a look around you. Think about people that you voted for sheriff. Think about people wherever you are that you voted for mayor. Think about people that you voted for governor. Think about people that you voted for the legislature. Think about people that you voted for in regards to these judges. Just think about people in general that you have voted for, even if it's not on a local, county, state, or national wide. Think about people that you vote for even in your social organizations or even in your religious organizations. Truly, what are those people truly doing? But yet and still, we want to have this stigma on people about what more people need to do, and we want to be able to put labels on people as if people are not doing enough, but yet and still the people who are putting people in these positions are not truly taking accountability that the fact that some of these people have no business being in the positions that they have been in for so long. I'm a firm believer, with Mr. Mayes being one of the exceptions to the rule. He is one of the exceptions to the rule. But outside of Mr. Mayes, as well as maybe just a few other people, if you have held a position for longer than 8 years, it's time for you to go. You're not serving any purpose. You're truly not helping the people. Truly, what are you there? And truly, exactly what are you doing? How beneficial are you to the community? How beneficial are you to making things better? How beneficial are you to the economic status and the educated status of the community for which you say that you have been elected for? People vote people in and know good and darn well they're not getting a damn thing done. Mr. Mayes was a different type of person. And that's what bothers me with people. That's why I don't believe like politics belong in the church. Because sometimes churches tend to prop politicians up who don't do a darn thing, or prop politicians up who don't do enough. This man was an exception to that particular rule. He was truly sincere. He was sincere for his people. He was sincere for the cause of right, for the cause for equality, for the cause to make sure that those parks was being built, for the cause to make sure that people would not be X'd out, for the cause of making sure that the people's homes would, that gentrification was not pushing people out. Versus we live in an area where people are gentrifying things, and they're advocating for people who've been here for 30 and 40 years to actually be pushed out. Y'all think I'm playing? Y'all better go research what's going on around there with that medical mall situation around the Martin Luther King area and around the Mega Elvis Boulevard. If you all think I'm playing with that, you need to do your own research with that. See, it's a lot going on locally that a lot of people truly don't understand. And Mr. Mayes was a person that spoke out against those things. Man, he would have been such a blessing here with what we have going on with the crime and what we have going on with the water issues, right? Because we know the water issue is not a new issue. The water issue is like a 30, almost 40-year issue. I told people years ago, Jackson is another Flint, Michigan. People didn't want to, oh, you're just being negative. Oh, you don't. No, technically, if you think about the situation with the drinking water, if you think about how many boil water alerts that we have had to be under, if you think about the fact of the low water pressure and how the pipes tend to bust, if you think about when people are actually without water, Mr. Mayes would have been awesome here. Let me tell you something. I'll even step it up a notch. With what's going on with Atmos Energy, he's the type of person and he's the type of presence that we need now with houses blowing up. And Atmos Energy disregarding things as if, gas leaks are non-emergencies, right? Because there was gas leaks reported. The Atmos Energy thing was non-emergency. But imagine somebody like Mr. Mayes being here. Not scared to say what he got to say. No sugarcoating about it. Talking to people, taking people head on. Taking charge. Advocating not just for people. Advocating not just for views. Advocating not just for likes, but advocating because it was justful and was right. And my heart goes out to people that knew him and people that he truly represented, because it's going to take another special jewel to be able to step in and do or either pick up the torch that he truly left behind. And it's sad that, sadly enough, we don't have a lot of people like Mr. Mayes. And here we are in February 2024, and people want you to talk about Black history, but people don't want to talk about the Black politicians that's being bought. People don't want to talk about the Black politicians that's been paid off not to address anything or not to do anything. People just want to talk about those things that make everybody feel good instead of addressing issues that are of true concern, issues that bring true awareness, and issues that people truly need to take heed to. We need more people like Mr. Mayes. We need more people who are driven. We need more people who are dedicated. We need more people who are loyal. We need more people who are honest. We need more people who are not afraid. We need more people who are willing to hit the lion with the head on, strong head on. We need people like Mr. Mayes, like this wonderful individual for who he was in Flint, Michigan. Listen, we're going to tap just a little bit more on Mr. Mayes, but we're going to tap even more onto those elected officials in any segment on how people need to truly be representing the people that voted them in. Listen, I'm your host, Letha. We're about to take a brief commercial break, and we're here, we believe, here in Jackson, Mississippi. We'll check you out right after this brief commercial break, and we're going to get into some more things. Thank you.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Into Letha's Real Talk. I'm your host, Letha, and we're airing right here at the We Believe Digital Podcast Studios. Listen, briefly before the commercial break, I wanted to commemorate and I wanted to take a special pause for Mr. Eric Mayes, who was a 3-term councilman who died at the age of 65 from Flint, Michigan. He was truly well known for his advocacy during the water crisis. But outside of his advocacy for the water crisis, Mr. Mayes was truly a person that was just well known for speaking his mind. And I mentioned these things prior to our commercial break. Listen, if you are an elected official, I want to challenge you to disregard anything other than that what's right, not that which is lawful. And there's a difference. Because we have to be real about these things, right? Just because it's legal, don't make it right. And there are a lot of things that are justful that are not legal. I can't speak for how I feel like Mr. Mayes would have acted even presently now, if he was a councilman here in the beautiful state of Mississippi, in the capital city. It's not the Queen City. Let's get this right. Jackson is the capital. The original Queen City was Meridian, which was the original capital. Okay, and I think that there's something else that needs to be taught in schools because people are a little ill-versed truly about even the history or the historicness on things that truly take place here in the state. But with the concern that people even have locally with guns, I would just be amazed to just be able to sit in the presence of Mr. Mayes and to just hear what it is that he would have to say. Listen, local officials, you are voted in office for a reason. And a lot of you all that are voted in, you're not doing anything except running up taxpayers' dollars. You're costing people more money. You're talking about problems, but yet and still you all don't have solutions. Let's focus on some solutions and not the problems. Also, another thing we need to consider that there are enough laws in place that we don't have to keep rewriting laws. These laws need to be enforced. And that's something else I can appreciate about Mr. Mayes. Mr. Mayes wasn't a person that was about rewriting law. He was a person about enforcing what already stood, where it already was. So many people talk about being disadvantaged. So many people talk about coming from a disadvantaged place, coming from a disadvantaged town, coming from a disadvantaged community, and yet and still so many people have people to actually stand up for them, but yet and still it's not enough. Why should people have to fight for you harder than what you're willing to fight for yourself? Why should people stand up for you harder than what you're willing to truly stand up for yourself? I would truly never understand that. I would not understand the misconception that people need other people to advocate for them, even though you're unwilling to advocate for yourselves. Truly, I would never understand that. I will never understand the fact that people complain about crime, but yet and still people don't want more boots on the ground. I would truly never understand that. I would never understand the fact that people complaining about the guns, but yet and still people want to take the rights away from the people who are legally able to buy the guns, and not addressing the fact that a lot of the guns that people are out here using committing these crimes are truly bought illegally. People don't want to address the fact that since we've truly had more boots on the ground here in Jackson, Mississippi, you haven't been seeing as many killings. These are things that people don't want to address the fact of, but people want to sit up and complain, and people want to talk, and people want to mope, and people want to groan. I wish more people had the endurance like Mr. Eric Mayes. Everything was not focused on the problem. He was a man of solution. He was a man of resolution. That's the legacy he leaves behind. That's how much of an impact that this man has made, because you have people like me and some of you all who have watched this man for years and watched him not dwell so much on the problem, but he focused on resolutions, and he focused on solutions, and he focused on getting stuff done. But yet, and here we are with people that some of you all have elected, because I'll talk about how I voted closer toward election time in November. However, you're so busy talking about the change that you all want to make happen, but you want a change to happen and you're still keeping the same people in position. The sign of insanity, the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That even boils down to the people y'all continue to vote in office. You're voting the same people in, but yet and still you expect different results. How dare you expect something different when you're not willing to vote different? How dare you expect something different when you're not willing to do different? How dare you expect something different and you don't bring anything different to the table other than your appetite, other than the complaining, other than what you want to see happen? How dare you expect anything different? And Mr. Mayes was not that type of person. And you know, in this awesome month of Black History, in this moment of Black history, Black living, Black existence, Black reality, he was truly a man. He didn't lower his standards down to the expectations of what people expected of him. He rose the bar from himself, and he expected better of not just himself, but he expected better of not just his community. He expected better from everybody. Wow. Imagine if we just expected better. Imagine if you set the standard just a little bit higher. Imagine if you set the bar just a little bit higher. Imagine if you actually voted for people who truly stood in the gap for truly what you believe for, but people truly don't know what you believe for, what you stand for, if you truly don't stand up and truly make your presence known. Those people in Flint, I applaud them. I applaud the community. I applaud the people, because people truly stood up and they made their presence known, and they made it known for what they stood up for what they believed in. And Mr. Mayes was a person who people brought the burdens to him, and he turned around and he carried the torch. We don't have people here carrying the torch, but you can't expect people to carry the torch, and people are not carrying burdens because people are not carrying burdens because it's somebody somewhere that's being bought out by somebody else. That's why a lot of people are not in favor of politicians. You do understand that people don't truly care for true politicians, for long-term politicians, because it's political. How can you understand how people feel like in their homes or in their neighborhoods, and you have truly lost the sense of awareness of who you are as a human? It's being connected to people on an everyday basis because you lost hindsight to that. You lost reality to that. Mr. Eric Mayes never lost sight of that. He never lost his focus. That's why so many people are mourning. That's why so many people right now are disarrayed. That's why in this moment and in this very present of time, people are they're truly lost. But yet and still, people are still seeking hope. And people have to wonder, who are they to look for hope from? What do you represent? Who do you represent? What are your morals? What are your standards? What do you truly agree with? And the other issue is we don't know how to agree to disagree. We don't know how to have disagreements without somebody else getting offended. Now, I'm not going to say Mr. Mayes always made a silent, I'm not going to say he was always silent about everything, but what I will say about Mr. Mayes is whatever he stood up for, he truly believed in it wholeheartedly. You have people out here, even presently, they're saying things and they don't even believe in what they say. They're representing things and they don't even understand what they represent. They're doing things and they're trying to bring people on board, and yet and still they don't even think about the outcome or the detriment for the information that they put out here before people, for how they attempt to campaign before people. They don't even think about the causes, the long-term effects of it. Because you have more people with less morale. You have more people with less ethics who are truly elected officials. And that is not a fact. That is my most humble opinion. I enjoy watching Mr. Mayes. I enjoy watching him with a cigarette in his hand. He's standing out there and he'll call a toad a toad, a duck, and he will call a dog, and it wasn't no sugarcoating to him about it. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to pop up in meetings that they was having that he should have been invited to. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to go to jail. He was not afraid. But yet and still, we live in an era and we live in a time where you have less and less people truly like Mr. Mayes. You don't have the many icons like Mr. Mayes. You truly don't. People that actually stand for something, somebody that's got some dignity and some valor about themselves, somebody who actually stands with a sense of pride. That's who Mr. Mayes was. That's the legacy that this man leaves behind. How proud of you are the people right now who represent you? How proud are you of whoever you voted for president? How proud are you of whoever you voted for mayor? How proud you are of whoever you voted for sheriff? How proud are you? How proud are you for people in your social organizations that you voted for? How proud are you for the people in your religious organizations that you voted for? How proud are you? Are you so proud that you can walk up with your chest stuck out? Truly, how proud are you all? People are not proud. People vote off impulse. People do things off feelings in the moment. People do things without thinking just because somebody right here says something is not nothing they agree with, and they'll just go along not even thinking about the long-term effect. Truly, how proud are you for who you voted for? I commend the people of Flint. For anybody that voted for Mr. Mayes, my hat go off to you all. Because you all didn't shortstop. You all stood strong for what was right. You all chose a leader who was willing to walk the walk, who didn't just walk in front of you all. You all chose somebody who walked beside you all. How many of anybody else outside of Flint, Michigan, that chose leaders that you know for a fact are not trying to walk in front of you, but how many of you are right now, whatever it is, whatever the situation, whatever the circumstance, how many people watching right now can say that they voted for somebody who's walking side by side with the people? And y'all wonder why these young people don't want to vote. Because for some people, it's a pure joke. Hinds County, Jackson, Mississippi, pothole issues for over 30 years. People in positions that getting paid and the positions don't even exist anymore. Atmos Energy acting like a gas leak is a non-emergency, and you got houses around here blowing up. And you got state legislators who've been in office, I know, for over 10 or 15, 20 years. That's not even doing what they need to do. But he keeps getting back in just because his name keep ending up on the dadgum ballot. That's not an Eric Mayes type of situation. It's truly not. And when you have people who are truly sincere, not just for people who are truly sincere for what they do, they make a whole nother world of difference. The outcome is totally different. Their energy is different. The way they connect with people is totally different. You're going to see them out here doing more. You're not just going to see people doing stuff in a press conference. That's what I liked about that man. I didn't just see him in no press conference. He didn't have to hold a press conference, okay? The press conference came to him. He didn't have to schedule stuff. Stuff came to him. He wasn't attention seeking. People sought him. People needed to hear what he had to say. People wanted to hear what his uproar was about. Why don't we have more people like Mr. Eric Mayes that are voted elected officials? Because you have more people who don't care and you have less people that do. And sadly but true, Mr. Eric Mayes ran on the Letha. He was a diamond in the rough. You can't have a lot of diamonds, baby. Buried. May be a little dusty. He may grew up a little dusty. He may have to get some polishing and some finishing, but his polishing and finishing came not just because you cleaned him off and wiped him off. It's because he became purified, because he understood his assignment versus people who are on assignments and they don't even know what the hell they damn assignments are because they so busy trying to please people that didn't even help put them in office, because you have other people who are out here trying to please people all because it helped their pocketbook, all because it helped their wallet, all because it helps and it adds to their net worth. He was not that type of individual. And he pissed a lot of people off, but you know what? So what? He pissed a lot of people off in a good manner. He pissed a lot of people off and he was getting stuff done. He pissed a lot of people off and he went beyond bumping his gum. He had progress. So what if he pissed people off? So what if people didn't like him? My problem is that people like you and you're not getting nothing done. My problem is that you're not pissing people off and you're not getting anything done. My problem is that people actually voted you in. For some of you all elected officials, and you truly turned your back on the people that voted for you. That was not Mr. Eric Mayes. He never turned his back. He never turned a blind eye. He never acted like he was better than nobody. He never acted like he needed all this darn security to just go anywhere. He was a people's person. Versus people who want to schedule press conference. Versus people who want to get all this fame. He wasn't studying none of that. He was thinking about doing what was right for the people that voted him in Flint, Michigan. And I truly believe that there are so many people today that don't just take for granted their leadership, but to the people that vote, stop voting for people just because. When you vote for people just for no cause or reason, I want to advise you to vote the other direction. I'm going to say that again. When you vote for people for no true cause or reason of your own, it's time for you to vote the other direction. I don't care what direction it is. Go the opposite. He left behind a legacy that so many people cannot even level up to because of his courage and because of his dedication for his community. And yet and still we live in a day and time where you have people that will get dressed up for the TV and call these press conferences and they talk about the problem, but they're not getting down to the solutions. You want to take your hat off to somebody for Black History Month? Take your hat off to Eric Mayes. You want to salute to somebody for Black History Month? Salute to Mr. Eric Mayes. You want to take a moment in peace and silence for Black History Month? Take that moment for Mr. Eric Mayes. You want to commemorate anybody for Black History Month? Do that for Mr. Eric Mayes. You want to do something in remembrance for Black History Month, or you want to sing a Negro national anthem or anything for anybody for Black History Month? Do that for Mr. Eric Mayes. And spread the word on who he was and what he did in a positive manner, and don't focus on the feathers that he ruffled, because I appreciate people that ruffle feathers and ain't afraid. He was not afraid. He was not afraid. Listen, I thank you all right now. I'm your host, Letha. We're right here at the We Believe Universal Studios. You can catch us on all social media platforms, as well as Letha's Real Talk on all social media platforms. I thank you once again. Once again, salute to Mr. Eric Mayes. Listen, we're going to do the same thing next week. Same time, same place. Be blessed. I love you all. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Bye-bye.